Maybe. Oh. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the We Be Jammin live podcast, a part of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. Today is going to be a special treat because we got somebody incredible who's going to come on the stage. I don't know if he knows it. He may know it. He may not know it. He's inspired an entire generation of musicians, uh, both in wherever he's been, but especially in West Virginia. We're all trying to strive to be uh, at this level, and I'm so glad to have him on here to give us some insight. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce my guest, Mr. Johnathan Smith.
All right. Hey, the crowd.
What's up, man? How you doing today?
What's going on, man? I'm doing all right, man. Taking it easy, chilling out for a little bit, but all is well. I'm having a pretty good day. No
That's good.
complaints.
That's good. That's good. That's always good to have no complaints, man. No.
Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
so we just gonna hop into it because this is just us talking about being musicians, us talking about our creative paths, our uh, and just how we got here and where we're going next and stuff like that. So the first thing that we got to ask is who is Jonathan Smith?
All right. Who is Jonathan Smith? I am a musician. I'm a musician, and I'm a musician who loves music still. I still love it. I'm already talking. I still love it. You know what I'm saying? And so, other than that, just yeah, musician, loves music. When I'm not being a musician, I love to cook. I got a regular life. I love games. Got my Xbox right there. Got my PS5 at home to kind of balance me. But no, man, I'm just a guy who loves music and ended up using music as my universal language to be able to kind of get me through things where I wouldn't necessarily be able to like feel like talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I've committed to the craft by way of learning everything and necessary to be able to be successful and understand the language. But after a certain point, man, life just happened, and life will happen if you keep living. Life's going to happen, and so in the process of life happening, while learning the different things necessary, to be able to express myself as a musician, that's where it kind of just like shaped who I am as the type of musician. But other than that, man, since we over here talking about jamming, I'm staying pretty strict on the fact of yeah, I'm just a guy who loves music, still love music, and yeah, simple.
Now that's amazing. That's amazing. So how did you get into music? A lot of us, have different paths that got us started, who got us the bug. So where did your bug bite you at?
Yeah, my bug bit me right in church, right in church. My mom was a pastor, and not only was she a pastor, she was a musician first before a pastor. Um, just like I was 16 years old playing in churches, she was 16 years old playing in tent revivals. Um, just like I was sitting somewhere in a sanctuary with a butter knife trying to fix a speaker. This is dangerous, by the way. She was somewhere in a tent setting up all the chairs, keyboards, drums, mics, monitors, and playing the service. And then after the service, striking all the gear. You know what I'm saying? So, like, my bug, I had it coming just off of the strength of how my mom, really was into music. But yeah, man, started playing drums, played my first official service at the age of 4 on drums. I was holding it down by myself, no help. And that was the journey, man. That's where it started. Yeah, pretty much church, and then from then on, we started going through the different little rivers to get me to the big river. You know what I'm saying? And so, but other than that, it started in church. I'm gonna make sure I'm answering the question because I don't get a chance to really talk about what I do, so I will ramble right on. So
Hey,
I'm looking at my little timer right here, so I'm gonna
ram,
stay honest.
ramble away, ramble away. 'Cause we want to know about you, man. We want to know about you, and I definitely me because you're somebody I've looked up to since I've got to meet you a long time ago,
Yeah,
and
man.
every time you do something, I'm like, all right, let's check out what something's got to be crazy going on in this thing.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us where you from, where you got to, and where you are right now?
Okay. I was born in East Chicago, Indiana, not too far from Gary, Indiana. So, everybody's going crazy over the Michael Jackson movie right now. I wasn't too far from over there. Even when I lived in Gary, I didn't live too far from the street that their house is on and things like that. My granddaddy, she used to shoot pool with Joe Jackson. You know what I'm
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Just they was getting girls and money. It's really weird, but that's what was happening. You know what I'm saying? And so but I'm from that area. Uh, Born in '88. I don't have a problem saying it. I don't care. And then I moved to West Virginia in 2003. That was not on my bucket list. That was not on my journey. I ain't got no family out there. You know what I'm saying? That was just one of them situations
Yeah,
where the energy moved me accordingly towards that direction. And we, you know, moved down there in 2003. There was some church that was like an hour away from where I lived. I used to live in Charleston, but there was a church in Beckley who didn't have musicians for like 12 years.
uh-huh,
And so they got connected to my mom, and my mom actually went to that church in Beckley and preached one time by herself. And then the second time she went, she flew me out. Then the third time, we both was flown out. And before I knew it, this church was moving us to West Virginia. Literally that simple. It was crazy. And so coming from Indiana to West Virginia, it was honestly culture shock. No questions asked. I was not used to how the state vibed and what was the energy. Back in Indiana, they were a little bit like, for instance, in Indiana, we already had the food stamp credit card. We already had that. You know what I'm saying? I came down to West Virginia 2001, 2002, they still had the paper money. I was like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like it was nuts, man. And like back in Indiana, we had, drum machines, MPCs, all that stuff then, synthesizers, all that stuff then, playing with tracks, all that stuff then. I came to West Virginia and there was an upright that might be in tune. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Or there was a really good sound in Hammond, but nobody could play it.
yeah,
Or there was a Hammond with just like a tone cabinet, but not a Leslie speaker. It was just somewhere there was some sort of obstacle that I had to get over. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, we can dig deeper in that later. But Indiana, West Virginia, and then I moved to Nashville in 2017. And yeah, man, I still live in Nashville, and I love Nashville, and that is my home. And so that's where I'm at.
yeah, man. Hey, that's quite a journey because you came in West Virginia where, like you said, it was before the times of us catching up, and
Sure.
then after we've caught up, it was pushed a little bit, and then you moved to
Yeah,
Nashville where they're already ahead of the game. So
man. Man, I spent my first year in Nashville just getting updated
okay,
because West Virginia ain't got nobody's Guitar Center.
yeah,
West Virginia didn't have nobody's Sam Ash. What are you talking about? We had
yeah,
Pied Piper, we had
right,
Jungle Drums, and you had to go to Huntington for that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, so, like, I didn't have an opportunity to play the newest keyboards. And, my goodness, bro, I hadn't even heard of Ableton until I got to Nashville.
right.
And Ableton had been out well before 2017, bro. You know what
Before,
I'm saying? So it was, like I said, my first year was just spending time getting updated. You know what I'm saying? As to like what's the new gear. We wasn't using ears like that in West Virginia at that time. By the time I left, you know what I'm saying? And so I had to learn how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I had never experienced modes, the in-ears that go all the way in your ears. I hadn't experienced that. Dude, I literally spent an entire year just getting updated. So it was
hey,
crazy.
so how do you feel about being in Nashville now versus when you first got there? Like, I know you said it's like home to you, you love it, but like, how do you feel about
So when I first got to Nashville, I looked around, I heard the music, I was looking at some of the people, And I was just like, it's wide open out here. It's wide open.
Yeah, it is.
Word? Like, really? And so I saw, first of all, I had put a pin in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. Let's see. If I left in 2017, so I put a pin in Nashville round about 2009, latest 2010. 2009, 2010, I put a pin in Nashville because I had an opportunity, while still being a resident in West Virginia, I had an opportunity to go to Japan with season finalists of American Idol. I don't remember the season. Don't ask me. But what I will tell you is Jimmy Allen was on there, and that's a name that's been a name swinging around. So Jimmy Allen was with me. That's all I know. One of my homies from West Virginia, Isaac Riston. We were in show choir in high school at Capitol High School, and so I met him his senior year, and I was a freshman when I met him. We played 1 year, and that was it. Hadn't run into him since then, but we kept in contact. And then out of nowhere, he was just like, "Hey, man, do you have your passport?" And I was going to West Virginia State at that time, and I had just got back from Austria, with the jazz band. And so they, because I was at school as a student in the jazz department or whatever, they paid for everything, so I had a passport for 7 years. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know when I was going to go out, but I had one. By the time he called me, he was just like, "Do you have your passport?" And I was just like, "Yes." He said, "Oh my God, I can kiss you in the mouth." I was like, "Okay, well, what's going on?" He's like, "Do you want to go to Japan for like a month?" I was like, yeah, I do. What are you talking about?" "Hey man, we got this thing. They need a band. I'm the MD. You want to be my co-MD? I'm gonna show you how to do the thing." I had never been on the road of that magnitude to those types of people for like a tour. That was my first one. I don't even call the college thing a tour because it was just like a college thing. You know what I'm saying? It's really for education and learning, and which we did. And I definitely got inspired, man. It was crazy, bro. Like I saw Mozart's Death Mask, and so just like the headiness of where you need to be sometimes when you getting into the music thing, I was able to have those feels. But back to putting the pin in Nashville. The crew, the main crew, as far as the band and some of the artists, were coming from Nashville. So I had to drive from West Virginia, from Charleston to Nashville. So I drove to Nashville, and we only had one rehearsal, but the rehearsal was 18 hours. I am not lying to you.
Oh yeah.
18 hours. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to figure out how to gel as a band along with the other artists, you know what I'm saying, to be able to support a tour in Japan, for a month, you know what I'm saying, as if we had been doing this. And these were not season winners, let me be clear. They were not season winners, bro. They were season finalists. And so with that, came, a lot of the obstacles that could come with people who didn't win. You know what I'm saying? So we're dealing with I'm learning how to deal with different attitudes. I'm learning how to
Yeah.
deal with different energies, and I'm learning how people are sober, how people are not sober. I mean, it was just so many levels of things that I learned like really fast. But that was my first time that I put a pin into Nashville. I was like, "Yo, I like it here. Um, I'm not now is not the time for me to come to Nashville, but I'll be back." And so I put my little pole in the ground, like, "I'll be back." You know what I'm saying? That was what that was. And so that was like 2009, 2010. And 2017, I was back. Nashville, um, I belong, you know?
Oh yeah.
I belong, man. I belong. And it's not I belong because I can play or anything like that. It's just that I'm still flourishing. Still. If I'm not careful, it's about to be 10 years. I've been in Nashville, bro, and I'm still growing.
Yeah.
Um, where I once was, I felt like I hit the ceiling. I was probably 22, 23. And so by 22, 23, I was just like, what else is there that I can do? I mean, because for the most part, back home, there were ones who deserve to be celebrated and respected and revered as such. But sometimes it made me feel like some of those rooms and doors or opportunities were only for them.
Yeah.
Um, that sucked. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting here learning all these different styles of music. Um, a lot of styles of music that I learned, I didn't even get a chance to exercise the gift because certain people wasn't singing that type of music back home.
Right.
Certain people may not have been the best singers. Certain people may not have been the best musicians, which wasn't nothing for me. I just want to make sure we sounded cohesive as a unit. I'm not worried about you being a having all the infinity stones of music. I'm worried about that. Do we sound good as a unit? Do people feel the energy? That's what I was focused on. But after a certain point of me drilling and trying to get that done, it was just like I hit a ceiling, man. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't felt the ceiling yet in Nashville, and I'm still there.
Man,
That's crazy. That's
that's inspiring.
crazy.
That's
Like
really
that's insane. That's insane to not feel the ceiling yet. Like I don't know how high it can go because it's still rolling.
yeah.
And I feel blessed and happy at right now. And I still ain't seen the ceiling yet. That's insane, man. And so for me, and then there's all types of places. Like I didn't think of many places, to go to. It was just a timing thing and just being in rhythm with where I'm going. And also a little bit of I gotta get out of here. I can't just I love y'all. Y'all are great. But and you guys are loyal. Oh my God. But there's more that I don't even know what I can do. But basically my main reason for going to Nashville was because I wanted to tour. That was my thing that I was saying. I want to go tour. I want to be a touring musician. That's what I wanted to do. Um, I wasn't even thinking about the other things that I do now. I want to be a producer. I want to be a musical director. I wasn't even thinking about all these things, at that time. It was just as simple as I want to tour. And
Right.
so I felt like that could happen in Nashville because like in Nashville they have places where you can rehearse for an arena tour. Bro, we ain't got nowhere like that back home in West Virginia where we can rehearse for an arena
That's
tour
that's crazy.
unless we throwing crazy money in front of the Civic Center, there's no rehearsal space
Yeah.
that offers that opportunity to be able to have ears on, front of house guys there, monitor guys on the stage. We got side fills, like we can roll out our set, after certain intermissions. And like, there's no
Yeah.
place to even act like we're going to rehearse for that. Even if we're going to find a place to rehearse for that, there's no place that we could just get a Hammond, get a Jupiter,
Right.
get a DW $5,000 kit. Like, nope. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
was just like for me, even with me progressing and trying to get to hitting the ceiling and things of that nature, you gotta have the gear and the stuff to even be able to act like you're gonna go in that direction. And Nashville had everything. It was crazy. Like back home, West Virginia, bro, I'd have my keyboards and my amp and my stands and my cables and everything in my whip. Here in Nashville, I go to the bar and I sit on the Hammond. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like they got a Hammond in the bar. Like,
Hey,
like, bro.
we watched you and go in there, get on the live stream, and you sitting on the organ in a bar
It's
in that. Like,
insane.
yeah.
It's insane. But once again, the tools are available for you to be able to grow and find your voice and find your sound. And so, nah, man, Nashville, in a sense, in all humility, regardless of how it sounds, Nashville was waiting on me to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I pulled the trigger when it was time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I can believe that wholeheartedly because, and just me personally, I've gotten to see you play live tons of times and in multiple situations. So not just like you on stage, but I've seen you in the church setting. I've seen you in a jazz setting.
Mhm.
Uh I've seen you in just being the big shows, being like for West Virginia, which would be like Live on the Levee or
Yeah,
uh
yeah, yeah.
stuff like that. I've seen you in those situations. I've also seen you in different situations with different artists. So I know that, make your transition going to Nashville was not going to be hard. Now we have a question in the chat. It says, "Did show choir help you perform on stage?"
Show choir, yes. Let's break it down a little bit. I like that question. Who asked that? That's fantastic. Yeah. So yes. Yes, there's levels to it. So what I liked about show choir was the fact that it taught me how to support the singer, the artist. All right. I'm helping somebody already. So if you
Oh
want to get into touring and everything like that, you're not supposed to be, it's not a good business move to get up there and play like you and to where it's like they just hear you. You got to know how to support the artist that you're hired to play for. You know what I'm saying? Someone is paying you to support them. You know what I'm saying? And so what show choir helped with was my volume, how aggressive I am, when to be aggressive, um, my execution. Because a lot of times in those show choir competitions, bro, they were not judging just the singers. They was judging the band. They
yeah,
was even judging it down to where if we went over time of setting up, we
yep.
lost points. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like it was so it couldn't you couldn't be hardy about it and be like, we the band. So we gonna make them sound better anyway. No, you mess around, lose points too. It was always about the unit. Show choir taught me about the unit. A lot of times, I love my show choir teacher, Miss Corbett,
Yep.
Kathleen Corbett,
The legend,
from the legend.
a legend.
Dude, there's this gospel song by this artist, God rest his soul, Richard Smallwood, called "Total Praise." Now, this song, bro, this is a song I should have learned in church because
Yep,
that's where you sing it. Well,
yep.
this lady would end her shows with that song, or she would use that song to center us as a choir if everybody was all over the place. You know, she'd use that song to center us. I learned that song from this lady, my teacher. Once again, show choir, it helped because that particular song, when not knowing how many churches I was going to have to play in, work in, and all that stuff, that was a staple song
Oh
that I
yeah,
needed to know in these churches, man. Still to this day, I'll have, when I'm free and available, when I'm asked to, when I play for funerals sometimes, man, they ask for that stuff. If they don't ask for it, you just know to play it. It's a song that, talks about strength and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? Trying to encourage you and stuff like that. So, show choir definitely helped me with playing on stage because it showed me how to support the singing, and it also gave me a great lesson in execution because granted, at that time I wasn't reading music. I didn't know nothing about reading. I didn't take my first reading class in music till my senior year. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? But even at that, it was the execution that was needed to be able to execute the music all the way around. So show choir definitely helped me. Uh, just once again with how I needed to move when playing on stage, and on top of that, y'all not seeing me. I was off in the corner, man. You know what I'm saying? The sets that we had, we were not a part
yeah,
of the choir. I'm off
yeah,
to the side. You know what I'm saying? Which was actually more difficult because if you off to the side as a young teenager, you just like, I can get this off. You know what I'm saying? No, you cannot. They hearing all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it taught me discipline. So
yeah.
yes, show choir,
So far,
yes, definitely help.
I'm gonna give y'all some insight too, because of Jonathan and his group. Uh, it really set a fire with directors on how they picked their show bands after that. A lot of us had, and a lot of us had to listen to some of the stuff that y'all were doing to be tight and to be like just so our show bands would be just as effective because y'all kind of set the standard for how a show band should sound.
Yeah.
And as we went on, and as like the Harrison twins came to Riverside, uh, they were around where you guys were at
Yep.
Capitol, which made when I got in the show band,
Hmm.
uh, we had to be at that level. Like it was
Yeah.
no y'all are going to get there. No, we got to start there. Y'all got to start reading now, start learning now,
Hmm.
get tight, blah blah blah, this blah 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 that. And it's and it helped elevate like, oh, this is the standard of a show band. If you can't meet that standard, you might be able to do it next year, but
Right.
not this year.
And that was the beauty of it. And there's nothing wrong with that, bro.
No,
Like somebody set a standard or a bar, then okay, cool. That's the bar. How do I beat that bar? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like really kind of pushed me because I felt, first of all, West Virginia, I love the crib, but it was a hard place to play in. It
yep.
was very similar to that. Like if you look at the makeup of West Virginia, like mountains, can't really see too much past them. You know, you got to really kind of get in it, go up. It was really like that.
Yeah.
And so if I got people who, and this is not a lack of better words, you said that y'all told me I could let my hair down and tell the truth,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm
Tell
going
the
to
truth.
do so.
Tell the truth.
So back home in West Virginia, this is the guy. He still reigns supreme because he's the GOAT. But you got to basically figure out how you gonna be better than Bob Thompson.
Hey, you absolutely
How
right.
are you
Hey,
gonna be able to? How are you gonna be able to go up in the spot and be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this show here, and it's y'all don't even talk about money because it's at least $1,000. How do you?
yeah.
Did I ever make it to that point? Not there. You know what I'm saying? And so, and so what I'm saying is, the gym that I want you to understand is when the bar is set to that point, or that's the standard, it gives you somewhere to shoot over. And that essentially, links in with what I see scrolling down here at the bottom of the screen: iron sharpening iron. You know what I'm saying? Somebody set a bar and we try to break it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then when you break it, now that's a new bar. Now somebody else come back and break that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's gotten so high to where when things are low, this is beyond mid. So when things are low, you can really be like, ugh, that was a good try, but man, keep working at it. And the
Oh,
only
yeah.
reason why they got to keep working at it is because of how high that bar has been set. You know what I'm saying? And so on purpose, man, I'd play things that I didn't even play in rehearsal. Some of that stuff that I was doing live at some of them shows, man, live on the levee. Let's go back further. The true empty glass. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like bro, like we were playing beyond where we were,
Yeah.
and just you know what I'm saying, like they're like y'all was killing, like man, I wish I could remember what I did
Yeah.
because we were just so hungry to just keep pressing to the point to where like you can hear the breaking everything that's you done got out of rhythm a little bit, like you literally just pushing yourself. It's just dude, it's just it's a different drive, man. It's a different drive, and that's what I believe. While paying homage and giving respect where it's due, I believe that that's what was different about me. I had drive, bro. I did
Yeah.
not care about the mountains. I didn't care about what gear that they didn't have. Let me go ahead and figure it out, and I'll go find out a way to bring it here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I just had drive. Like I just had drive, man. So
No,
yeah.
full respect. So I want to do a couple things before we move on. There's a question in here, but I want to play it after we play some of your music. But I've got to ask this question first. Can you name some of the groups that you played with? Let's start from, we talked about Capitol and Show Choir. We talked about West Virginia State and the jazz band. So name me some of the groups that you played with from back then to now, and then we're gonna play some of your music.
Okay. This will be a nice little journey. All right, so we said high school, we got into college. All right, so let's go back to high school. So we got show choir, Capital High School. I did that for 3 years. And then out of that, I went, I came back from Austria with the jazz band and started with some classmates called the Rick Perdue Band. So I was in that band. And then after that, kept on kind of rolling. I want to say somewhere in the mist. Yeah, because I was always doing churches. I had a little quartet group that I was a part of. At that time, it was called Fresh Anointing. I did that randomly in there. Posted a video about that not too long ago.
Yep.
Um,
Saw that.
and then after that, I can't forget this. I got inspiration. I
Yeah.
was like between 16 and 19, maybe 15. No, definitely 16. Yeah, Inspiration was this jazz band that was, in my opinion, the one of the first versions of Snarky Puppy
Yep.
back then. You
I can
feel what
say
I'm
that.
saying?
You can say
And
that.
the dope part about it was all church musicians. A
Mhm.
pastor was playing sats.
Yep.
Another associate pastor was on trombone. My mentor, Brian Bosley, who was a pastor of music, but basically just a minister of music, he was on trombone, who was a well established classical pianist, like Bach, Rachmaninoff, like crazy, like he's nuts, reading crazy. We had one of the, in my personal opinion, at that time, one of the coldest drummers, Jason Lapsley. He was from Huntington. We was a Charleston group. You know what I'm saying? And so we
Shout out
had
to
him. Before I started playing mains, we had this one guy, Dwayne McNeil. He still plays with Matt Austin at their church. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He was mains. I was ops. It was crazy. Like, like we
We're
had
gonna talk about that
squad.
too
Like
later. We're gonna talk about that
yeah,
too.
John
Different.
Wesley. It was his band, but he was playing drums at that time. Then he swapped to bass. You know what I'm saying? Like so, inspiration. That was my first jazz, gospel jazz, if that's what you want to call it. Because once again, we was just flipping some covers and then flipping the trash out of gospel songs, making them sound like jazzy. It was great. So that was inspiration was definitely important. They are important. I did a full record with them. I love them. That's my family. So inspiration. Then after that, moving on a little bit more, that's when we got into hybrid soul. In the midst of hybrid soul, groove heavy happened. That
Mhm.
was my baby. That was my baby. That was my baby. Okay, it's my baby. Groove heavy was, in my personal opinion, what got me ready to go to Nashville
That's what
because,
inspired a lot of
bro,
man. Inspired a
we
lot of
was tripping. We would go. First of all, thank God, and man, people were kind. I mean, we had residencies, bro. We had one at the tavern, and then we had one at the Glass, bro. But Groove Heavy was crazy because we were literally just like after all the church stuff, after all the other stuff. After this, Groove Heavy happened after college for me. I wasn't, So this is like after everything. We pretty much living our lives now, man. Like that was where we literally would go to these shows with no set list, man. No set list, bro. You know what I'm saying? And just get on stage and be like, Mark, hit a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, these were the two guys. It was three of us. These were the two guys where we didn't have to have a plan. Is it on? Can you hear yourself? Dope. And roll. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one of my most like to heart. You look on my socials right now, you'll still see Groove Heaven. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? It's just I ain't, it's just one of them things where that was the thing. So that was a lot of West Virginia, along with the many different artists that I played for when they needed to sing and do concerts. I've done all of the cool things. I opened for Bob in one of the
yep.
bands I was in. You know what I'm saying? And so that was super cool. That was as I got better, I was in rooms with him more often.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gave me peace. You know what I'm saying? Because either way it goes, he the man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So the fact that I was on a bill with him and then to watch him be like, hey man, you sound good, man. I'm like, hey man, you're playing, man. I'm just like, dope. All right, I gotta keep on getting after it. You know what I'm saying? And then even on the side, I was hitting him up, asking him questions and picking his brain. And that's like having a conversation with Jesus. This is too much. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? But Groove Happy was that. So now, cool. West Virginia, that's all that. Coming to Nashville, I was on my way to Nashville. I had a tour gig and it fell through while I was driving through Kentucky. So I either could have went back home to regroup or I could have went on down to Nashville. Clearly, I went on down to Nashville with no job, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? So did a few things, worked at Guitar Center, you know what I'm saying? And then I got a little situation where I went on tour. I got an opportunity to be on tour with these guys called the Wilson Brothers. That was a band. Two brothers. One was the pen singing, and he played a little guitar, of course. But then the other one, he was the player, playing, shredding on guitar. So that was that. And then that, that season passed, and then around about 2018, 2019, I got there in 2017. It started picking up, fairly quick. So 2018, 2019, I got an opportunity to meet a producer in Atlanta, Georgia at that time. His name is Cardiac. And so that's where I had my opportunity to be on R&B tracks, so that's where I was on track with Two Chains and Ariana Grande. Then after that, Chris Brown and Her. And then after that, I think her came back around. That was Damage. And then after that one, I'm terrible with keeping up with it, but Jasmine Sullivan happened. And then my last one that was recent-ish was one with Chris Brown and Chloe Bailey. So it's just that Chris Brown world and
Yep.
her. It was like I was just sitting in there. And I didn't meet these people. You know what I'm saying? They sent me the track. I played the music, sent it back. He sent me fire signs. And before I knew it, it was going down. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that's that. In the process of that, COVID happened. While COVID was happening, I got a quiet gig. David Phelps. Now I don't know if you're familiar, but there's this Southern gospel group called the Gaither Band. Well, this was one of the young guys who could like sing, tenor guys, sing. He had his own thing. I did the David Phelps joint. It was a wonderful opportunity. Definitely failed, but phenomenal opportunity.
Yeah.
And then right after that, um, uh oh, I take that back. I missed one. So that was after my other country gig after the Wilson Brothers. Then I went to Hunter Hayes. I did that one for about a year and a half.
Yep.
And then after that, David Phelps. And then after David Phelps, then I got back in town, back in Nashville, man. And I'm still doing a few tracks and stuff. And so I started picking up steam, playing at the crib. And so it was sweet. Money was flying. It was great. And then out of nowhere, I had got a call that from one of my guys who I call my sensei. His name is Hubert Payne. He plays drums for Little Big Town because I had ended up getting in a band with them. That was kind of definitely had the energy of Groove Heavy, but
Yeah.
but it was more guys who like more guys playing like how my guys were playing. But so it was like, and it was like they all had their different ideas, so it just kind of was insane. Like so, that guy Hubert Payne, he called me and said, "Hey, you're about to get a call. All you need to do is say yes." I said, "What?" You know what I'm saying? He said, "Just say yes." I said, "All right, whatever, cool." So this guy named John Osborne gives me a call. He's like, "Yeah, man, we're just looking for somebody who can help us finish our tour." You know what I'm saying? The dates is, Thursday through Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So, like I told you, I was rolling in Nashville, bro. So, church gigs, I got to tell the church, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I'm out this week. Pray. And they doing their thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm telling all my gig people, hey, I can't do the gig. I'm so sorry. I'll tell you about it later. Not knowing that that was going to be my opportunity to be able to be a part of this group that I'm with now, that I've been with since 2021. So I am now with Brothers Osborne. And then outside of that, I got Brothers Osborne. I got my my own band.
Yeah. That's what I was getting
Uh,
ready to say. You ain't
I
talk
got
about
my
your own
own
band.
joint. I
Yep.
got my own joint. I got my girl's joint. Kyla J. She fantastic singer. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So those are the three things right now where it's like that's where I'm cooling. And so yeah, man, that's everything.
And even
Twenty thousand minutes later, that's
the church
everything,
you play at has a nice following online.
bro.
I'm not gonna say
Bro, let me tell you about my church, man. I'm gonna tell you about that. I don't mind talking about them. My family, bro. That was the first church where when I got the Hunter Hayes opportunity, I thought, all right, my gig's over with. I didn't took this tour thing, so it's done. It was just like, okay, cool, great. So when do you come back? I said, I'm not gonna be back for like a month and a half or so. Okay, well, just put it in the schedule and we're good. I said, what? It was
yeah.
like, yeah, when you come back, just say you're gonna be back. I was like, huh? Yes. And then out of nowhere, the pastor makes an announcement about it. He takes a picture with me. So because it's like when I got the opportunity, like the city kind of rallied behind me, like, yo, he's a good guy. He got it. That's gonna be dope. And so it was cool to have my church actually support and be behind me, who are
Yeah,
still supporting. I am not an employee at that church. I'm a member, cuz.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Hey,
so
that's a
like
huge distinction.
I didn't help buy chairs, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
like I'm a member, bro. Like, so yeah, man. So that church is fantastic. When I first got into Nashville, I would kind of do little side gigs and play like little 7:30 more in the morning services before my 11. Now, dude, I don't play for nobody else, bro. I'm only there. And if I am not there on a Sunday, they know where I'm at, why I'm there, what's going on. Ain't no big deal. That's my family, man.
nah, nah, I understand. I understand. And for the people who don't know, church musicians, we don't get that kind of luxury. Like
That's right.
when you're out, that means your position is not being filled
Mhm.
because there's not a lot of us who can hang in a
Right.
service at any time. So
Sure.
for you to be able to be like, "Oh, I'll just put it on the schedule. I'll be back," and that's a blessing in
Man,
itself.
I don't take it for granted at all, man. And that's why, I've done things for my church even when I wasn't there, bro. Like I wasn't able to be there, and I'm on the bus. I mean, essentially, I only perform anywhere between 30 and 90 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the only time I'm on stage. Other than that, I got 9 hours to blow before I
Yeah,
even get on stage. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of times I was sitting tracks, you know what I'm saying, getting ready for commercials and stuff that we're doing for the church. Like just, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm very active, very active.
that's amazing. All right, so I want to play a little bit of your music, and then we're gonna talk some more. Okay, so
Sure.
be down, and we gonna play Funk Me.
All right, let's do it.
Let me get this right. Sorry, everybody.
You good?
All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about this track while I get it straightened out?
Sure.
Get this.
Yeah. So Funk Me was very like I need to release some music, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like, I had been on all these tracks doing all this other stuff and playing for everybody. And I was like, man, I need to release some music, man. And so out of nowhere, I just kind of came up with this little melody, man. And it's hard to first of all, you gotta really be you gotta get some courage when trying to is that on my end?
No, that's me. That's me.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah, you're good.
you gotta definitely, get some courage when it comes down to releasing music, and especially in Nashville. It's hard, man, because these guys like they getting real musicians to play it. You gotta pay those guys. They're getting real people to sit there and mix and master it. You gotta pay those guys. You know what I'm saying? And so after a certain point, I was like, well, I know a little bit, I know enough. I'm gonna just go ahead. I just need to get something out. I need to get something out, bro. And so I literally just you know, made something. And I was like, I like this key. And I just felt like I was reaching in the bag of what I would usually go for. I wanted to have something that was some sorts of challenging to kind of show uh, just my ability where I'm at in regards to how I play. And so the song I think is that the BPM should be 120. And so to sit there and say "Dugga, dugga, 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 dugga," you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this. I'm sitting
Yeah,
here saying "Ba, ba, 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 ba," you know what I'm saying? And so it's like I'm already going crazy. Like that's how the song starts. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I didn't want to wait for an intro. I didn't want to wait for an outro. I'm just like, I'm ready now. You know what I'm saying? And so that song was low key my coming out of actually trying to release something and saying that I'm okay with that. And what's so cool about it is that song, people are still listening to it. Like I went to go check my little royalties, man, and a lot of the money that's coming in is from that song, which is crazy work. Wasn't no bass player on that. That was me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. The only real musician I had on it was drums, and the guy who's playing on the Funk Me video was actually Howard Artist. He was actually on drums. I did all the keys and then sent it to him, and he played drums on it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so, but that's pretty much how that came up. Just something to get out there. You know what I'm saying? Some sorts of a thought, but for the most part, I just needed something out there.
Hey, I appreciate you. Let's play it.
They're not gonna let it happen. I look good though. That's a good venue too. That venue is called the Analog, and it's in West Nashville, the west end of Nashville. That organ is theirs, man. It sounds great in the room if you see those big drapes and stuff on the back, bro. Like it sounds fantastic there, man. I jumped and danced all around that stage that night, man. It was crazy.
Oh yeah. I don't know what's going on with our audio.
Mm. But hey, for the people, you can go on YouTube and you can go see that video. Type in Johnathan Smith, Punk Me, and you'll see me over there going through energy. That the guy on keys, man. He used to play keys for what is his name? It's a Tyrus. He played keys for Johnny Lang. He was a keyboard player for Johnny Lang for years. So he's phenomenal. And right now in Nashville for my band, that has been the only keyboard player. And that in itself should say enough.
Yeah,
He's dope. I
yeah,
like him. He's dope. I like him a
that's
lot.
that's a big statement. All right, well,
Yeah.
we gonna
Yeah,
forget
we
the video.
good.
I
Hey,
put
don't
it in
worry
the
about
chat.
it, man.
I put it in the
Great.
chat so everybody can go out and listen to it. Um, so I wanted to play your music to get to this question because this is a great question. I had this one
Sure.
lined up too. Um, who is your inspiration to do what you do now? eh,
Hmm.
that's a big
That's
question.
weighty. Yeah, it's
That's a
weighty.
big
That's
question.
weighty, man. Because there's a lot of like it ain't a one. It
Yeah,
ain't a one, bro. There's no way that there's a one. I don't have no one for you.
yeah.
What I know, who was an inspiration to do what I do. Uh, I I think I can talk about artists, maybe just mention artist names, do my best to just mention artist names as far as who inspired me. No questions asked. Robert Glasper, um, Thelonious Monk,
Mm.
um, Ben Tankard, old school. That's gospel jazz, bro. Um, Harris Bowens, Todd Tribbett's keyboard player, blew my mind. Aaron Lindsley, he Lindsay, he this is Israel Houghton, his MD and stuff like that, wrote a lot of his music. Crazy. When I started hanging out with Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, Mark Price, shout out. You know what I'm saying? So Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, like I don't even know how I was gonna be Mark's friend if I didn't understand or listen to that music. and if I wasn't gonna get it from
Full
him,
respect.
yeah, for sure. And if I wasn't getting it, I got it double, bruh. Because by the time his dad Seed found out that we was listening to it again, Seed to go downstairs and get the actual record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this right here. And so now it's like I'm having a history lesson. So yeah. And then there's my mentor passed away last year, one of my mentors from Indiana, Randall Fats Blakely. That another if I kid you not, if you go listen to this man's record, no questions, you're gonna hear 85% of my chords. It's kind of crazy. I just found this out maybe because I never really listened to it like that. Being a keyboard, I was a drummer when this record came out. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't listening to it like that. But when I was like, oh, I really sound like this guy. And then, and of course, my mother, no question. You know what I'm saying? That definitely was the inspiration. In my family, there's only three musicians as of now, and that was me, my mom, and her brother. And so, uh, inspiration from that. So yeah, man, it's just more so of a conglomerate but those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head where it's just like you blew my mind. Um, yeah, yeah, those were my ones. They blew my mind, man.
That's that's a good list. That's a really good list. Shout out to
Yeah.
rest in peace, Paris.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. You better believe it.
So
Hmm.
speaking of Paris, because that's a great segue. While to because as as regular people who listen to music, um, most people don't understand that there's a couple roles that are happening from the keyboard standpoint.
Hmm.
You might have three or four keyboardists on a track, and each one may be doing something different. So why don't you give us a little bit of insight on the difference between uh, a main keys, an aux key, and organ?
Dope, dope. Um, Shout out to Nashville. Nashville definitely grew me up in the understanding of where certain ones should sit.
Yep.
Um, Main keys essentially that's your piano guy. This is the bread. You know what I'm saying? Your piano guy, your CP80, CP70 guy. Like it's basically the main person driving it. This is your Elton John. You know what I'm saying? He's driving it. Auxiliary keys is your synth, strings, bells, whistles, extra things. Um, that's auxiliary essentially. They I've even heard the name colors. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where you add, your colors of what's going on. Organist, organ, it has its own place that it sits in. When you're playing the organ in regards to supporting a main keys player, it doesn't make sense for you to be all up in the keyboard player's register. The keyboard player, the main keys register should be somewhere, but middle C, not too far out, pretty much kind of staying in this little space here. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Organ need to be over here towards the right. You know what I'm saying? A little bit up that way. You know what I'm saying? And then the bells and stuff is in the spaces, where there may not be no music at all, or there's a break or something, or there's something need to be put there that's not necessarily a piano lick or not necessarily an organ lick. It's a little thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the purpose of that. And these are roles exactly what you said. They're roles. You sound silly playing Hammond like a keys player, and real organ players call it out too.
Yep.
I'm quick to say I am not an organist, and everybody's just like, "Please shut up. You're an organist," and I'm just like, "Yeah," because I understand. Like I have that much respect, you know what I'm saying, for the
Yeah.
role of an organist. Like an organist is gnarly, man. Like you got to be dope. That yeah, understand. You play Hammond, bro. There's no sustain pedal. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So you have to be so uh, locked in, you know what I'm saying, to be able to and dedicated to be able to just like make it sound like it's just moving seamlessly as if there's a pedal or whatever. And which is why I love the instrument. I think it's dope. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, but there's you got to be in your particular roles. You know what I'm saying? There's a touch that a piano player has that can be definitely heard that they don't have if they're not nice with it. You know what I'm saying? There's a different touch that you use on piano than Rhodes.
Yep.
There's a on Hammond you can have a tendency to kind of be sloppy, but even at that it has to be a musical, tasteful sloppiness in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of started thinking to myself some years ago. I was just like, man, it's kind of dope that I'm a established keys player because that means that everything I play on Hammond's gonna be clean now. That could be pretty cool too. You know what I'm saying? And so, you just kind of got to go on the journey to see what works. But what I've enjoyed doing in Nashville is playing these different roles. It's so dope to be in a band in Nashville and I'm not the MD. It'd be
Yep.
crazy, bro. Like, I'm not MDing. You just want me to play Hammond? That's it?
Yeah.
Like, that's all? Yeah, man. I'm just like, word. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so that's super cool. But I also enjoy MDing. You know what I'm saying? Because like what I love about Nashville is they by the book. So it's like it's not missing ever.
Yeah.
It's not missing, bro. It's on. It's record ready. Like we could have taken this to the bank and cashed it same night. You know what I'm saying? But the cool part about me is I'll be over here just like, I think we should go over here. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? And they're just like, huh? And I'm just like, come on. You know, and musically, that's what I'm doing. And it's because I
Yeah.
know that they're capable. These guys are killers. You don't know how many songs these Nashville guys have to learn just to pay their bills and just to get things accomplished. And then in the process of that, that makes them quite valuable and definitely insane musicians and players. But sometimes, you know, just like anyone, when you get out the mold, it kind of be like, what are we doing? Where are we going? You know what I'm saying? I like the what are you doing? Where are we going? You know what I'm saying? That's I live there. You know what I'm saying? And so in a sense, that's kind of helped create my own lane. You know, it's not that I don't, you know, first of all, I learned the music. Don't get it twisted. Don't think I'm just going out here going crazy. No, I had to develop, you know, the reputation that, oh, John is going to play this music. But
Yeah.
because I have that respect now, now we can go on a journey and go find something else. Because if y'all want to go hear the record, there's Spotify, there's Apple Music, there's Amazon Music. You're more than welcome to go listen to the record. But if this is just simple entertainment for people right here, then let's do what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Let's go find something else. We've been playing this stuff for years. We, you know, a lot of times we play the same songs every week out there. And so I love just being able to kind of, for lack of better words, confuse the enemy. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of just throw some random, you
I
know,
like
sink in the middle of the floor, you know.
we got another question up on the
Yay.
and this goes into what you was just talking about. Can you explain what an MD stands for and what the
Sure.
role of an MD is? Because that's,
Okay.
you know,
So the musical director's job is to know everyone's part, even if you don't play their instrument, even down to the vocals. Like, no, 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 y'all are wrong because I'm playing this here and we're supposed to be doing this here. You know what I'm saying? The musical director's job is literally to do, in a sense, what the name says, direct the music. In order to direct the music, you have to know all the inner workings. You know the tempos. You know what I'm saying? You know the key changes. You know the chords. You have to also be equipped enough to be able to change it to a different key, even though you learned it in a different key. That's
mhm,
the purpose of the musical director. Don't worry about it. We're going to go ahead and play this a whole step down. You know what I'm saying? And like, okay, cool, bet. Well, those are the ones that you know you need to keep hired. The ones who get quiet, who might have a problem with it, now you're seeing their weakness. You know what I'm saying? So now you have two things you got to possibly do: replace them or get in the trenches with them and get them up to speed ASAP. But it's
yep,
easier for you to do if you know all the music. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I have to necessarily know how to play bass, know how to play guitar and things like that. But like I said on my other track that on Funk Me, I play bass. I understand, you know, where the bass sits, how it's supposed to sit, how I want bass to sit for me. You know what I'm saying? So just understanding a little bit of it. Like I can tune a bass, I can tune a guitar. I know the notes that they can you give me an E? Right after they give me the E, I go straight to a G. I go to an A, I go to a B. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
immediately. You know what I'm saying? I look at his bass, I see he has a 5 string, B. You know what I'm saying? I look at his bass, I see he has a 4 string, E. You know, hey man, I actually tuned my B to B flat. Ooh, I like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've been in so many different settings where, once again, that's the job of an MD to know
yeah,
all the music in and out, and also to be able to be equipped to be able to do it in any key in any tempo. If the tempo is too fast or too slow, be able to have the knowledge to be able to say, I think that's a little too fast. Now, the record is this. Maybe we should do, you know what I'm saying? Like, once again, and you can't be so mean with it. You got to be able to be the peace in the midst of a storm, possibly. Because
right,
a lot of times with music, music is an emotional activity. You know what I'm saying? And so emotions, it's easy for emotions to get high or low, and you have to be able to be that calm sounding voice to be able to make sense of it or to be able to bring about a compromise that doesn't stop the flow of the show, of the rehearsal. That's my long dissertation about what an MD is. Know your
appreciate the insight. Alright, so we
yeah,
almost at the hour mark. We usually
love
don't
it.
go too much longer. It don't feel like we've been here for an hour. It really
No
don't, but
worries.
we're almost there. Uh, my question, and go off on however you want to explain this, is what is next for Johnathan Smith? Because you did just put out a record, and you are in Nashville, and you've got a couple bands that you play with, but you also got your own thing going on. So what is next for Johnathan Smith? What is coming up?
There, there'll be I don't know how many, but there could be a few singles, maybe an EP, but essentially, the next
The
big
next big
thing
thing
that's coming
that's
from
coming from
me
me.
is my full length album. This record is going to be the record that I'm shooting for. Um, Without saying so much about it, orchestra, you know what I'm saying, horns, and like really going for it. Because I'm an artist too, bro. And so the main focus is this full length album, and the dream, even in the midst of everything else that I'm doing, is to be able to go out and continue my artistry. Nashville has been very receptive in regards to my music and my show and the different types of shows that I have. I have a show where it's right in your face, boom. Not too long ago, I did a jazz show in a jazz cave, and it was killing. My band right now consists of Tajay Mosley. You know, he at the crib,
Yep.
but
Okay.
he's my drummer, and actually about to mess around and be my MD. So that's my
Shout out.
drummer.
His dad is
Shout out to
content creator,
Taj.
so,
Oh yeah, you already know what time it is.
yeah,
You
you
know,
you already know what time it is.
Stro. You know what I'm saying? You already know what time it is. Yeah. So for me, that's a huge part of this music that I'm going to be releasing, because not only is it songs that I've written, this record is going to be my best songs. This record is going to be songs that did not come out when I was in West Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Still got them. You know what I'm saying? But never really did anything with them. So the next big thing is full length album and more shows in my artistry, man. You know, so I've met a lot of cool people, still meeting great cool people, and so in regards to, being able to tour my own show, um, that's a reality. It's not a dream. That's the truth. And so we're just going to trust the process and go on the journey.
Hey, I'm excited because once you go on tour, man, you once everybody gets to experience you live the way I've gotten to experience you live, and the way people in Nashville and all over the world has gotten this experience you live, it's you probably not gonna never see the ceiling because sky's the limit at that point.
Man, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Me too, man. Me too. Well, we at the hour mark, man. You've been a incredible guest. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you all in the chat. Thank you, Big Jack, for allowing us to have this space. Um, don't go nowhere because we want to talk to you at the end of the show. Uh, man, y'all gotta go check him out. You just gotta go check him out because it's there's no words to explain the type of music that he brings to the stage. Like I said, you've been an inspiration for me since I met you. Uh, you came and rocked out at our church. I think I saw you at Marshall one time, and
Hmm.
then when I started getting out there and actually playing and seeing your band do it, it showed me where I needed to go and where I needed to be. And as you do it now, it still shows me where I need to go and still need to be.
I love it.
So I I appreciate everything you do, man. Keep doing what you're doing because, like I said, you inspired a whole generation of keyboardists, a whole generation of bands, and as you keep going, we gonna keep going.
I love it. Well, keep going because my drive is crazy. So strap up.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna end the stream right here. Thank y'all, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Big Jack. This is We Be Jammin'. Well, I'll see you next month.